The continuing government shutdown forces some area families to choose between food and medical care. Plus, why McDonald County students are planting hundreds of flags. And
the Supreme Court hears arguments on the legality of President Trump's sweeping tariffs. I'm Erica Brown with more from the High Court on the emergency powers used for his economic policy.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Disagreement in Washington leads to an uncertain future for some area families. This is KOAM News. I'm Dow Quick. As the government shutdown continues, families who rely on federal programs are running into some new challenges, not just with food assistance, but with everyday services in many cases. For one Joplin mother raising a child with autism, even getting to medical appointments has become a struggle.
Full-time mom, and I have 5 different therapies a week to go to with no transportation and medical transportation. Since the government shutdown, I've noticed a delay in placement for who can pick us up. A lot of the times they just schedule us with Lyft, and we'll be stuck out in Kansas for 4 hours because the Lyft won't want to pick us up. And medical transportation is basically just saying, sorry, we're doing what we can. And I understand it's not their fault, but it's impacting not just adults.
Crosslines in Joplin has seen the bigger need firsthand and has expanded how often families can pick up groceries. We're going to hear more from Jennifer on why SNAP benefits are vital to families such as hers tonight at 6. The federal government shutdown is now in its 36th day, making it the longest in U.S. history, followed by one during President Trump's first term. A White House breakfast meeting today, President Trump pressured Republican senators to scrap the filibuster rule that requires 60 votes to advance most legislation. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says the votes aren't there to change the rule that would let Republicans fund the government and end the shutdown without the needed Democratic votes.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3 1/4. We have 3 1/4 years, so it's a long time.
Leader Jeffries and I, this morning, demanded that Donald Trump sit down and meet with us to address the health care crisis. Anytime, anywhere, any place, we're ready to meet with him. It's time to sit down and negotiate with Democrats to bring this Republican shutdown to an end and address the health care crisis.
Republicans continue to urge Democrats to support a short-term spending bill, while Democrats are pushing for an extension to the Affordable Care Act subsidies they say are needed to lower health insurance premiums. Let's check in now with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a great Wednesday for us today. Temperatures fantastic, not as windy as what we saw on Tuesday, but still a little bit of a breeze out there. Northeasterly wind 5 to 10, kind of gusts near 20 miles per hour, and those winds will pick up a bit as we go into Thursday. But pretty much clear skies. Let's go through the evening hours. We slide back 50s, 40s, a little colder tonight. We drop back into the upper 40s for overnight lows, but we pop back to 73, 74, 75 degrees as we go into Thursday afternoon. We do get some clouds, may get a sprinkle in here tomorrow night, and into Friday morning we drop back into the upper 50s and right back into the 70s as well over on Friday. But a big cool down moving in for the weekend. We're going to talk about that here in a bit.
We'll catch in a few. The Supreme Court heard arguments today over President Trump's sweeping tariff policies. The case revolves around the president's use of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977 and whether it's an overreach of executive power. Erica Brown has the latest now from the Supreme Court.
Inside the Supreme Court Wednesday, the Trump administration argued the president has the legal authority to impose sweeping tariffs on foreign countries without congressional approval.
We don't contend that what's being exercised here is the power to tax. It's the power to regulate foreign commerce. These are regulatory tariffs. They are not revenue-raising tariffs.
President Trump relied on a 1977 emergency law known as the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to impose the tariffs. But several justices, including some conservatives, questioned the administration's interpretation of that law and where to draw the line.
What would prohibit Congress from just abdicating all responsibility to regulate foreign commerce, for that matter, declare war, to the president.
We don't contend that he could do that. If it did.
Why not?
Attorney Neil Katyal argued on behalf of the small businesses who brought the lawsuit.
The justices ask tough questions, but fair questions.
These tariffs don't punish foreign governments. They punish American small businesses, American workers, and American families.
President Trump has called this case, quote, life or death for our country, and warned a ruling against him could cause economic disaster and impact tens of billions of dollars his administration says it raised in tariff revenue. Legal experts say this appears to be the first time conservative justices expressed skepticism on one of President Trump's major policies.
If you listen to the arguments today, I think the betting is that the Trump administration did not persuade the court of its position.
The court is expected to rule next year. Erica Brown, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
Even if President Trump loses this case, some tariffs that were enacted under other statutes will remain, including levies on steel, aluminum, and automobiles. McDonald County High School JROTC cadets are planting flags around the county. The cadets tell KOIM they're proud to be putting flags up to honor the veterans that came before them. More than 800 flags will be up around McDonald County by Monday in time for Veterans Day.
Every flag I plant, it feels like another soldier I helped. And I always love to help my soldiers because they are going to be my brothers in arms as well.
Fields of Flags is a fundraiser for the McDonald County JROTC program. Still ahead, people spending thousands to clone their beloved dogs before they die. But first, the story of a lung cancer survivor and why more people should be screened for the disease. That's next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the U.S. Nearly 227,000 people will be diagnosed this year. A new report finds significant progress against lung cancer, but also shows more at-risk patients need to be screened. Bradley Blackburn has more.
Perry Lee is a lung cancer survivor. The New Jersey volunteer firefighter had a baseline scan that showed a tiny spot on his lung.
I monitored it for roughly 2 years, and I never followed up after that.
Several years later, in 2019, a new doctor insisted he get it checked out. He was diagnosed with stage 1 lung cancer.
I was in denial, I was angry, and at the same time, I was like, how do I go and tell my family? Because I had let it go for so long. I had no shortness of breath, none of the symptoms.
The State of Lung Cancer report from the American Lung Association finds the disease is being detected earlier and more people are living longer after diagnosis.
Lung cancer screening is a game changer in helping people catch the disease early when it's easier to treat. There are so many more treatments. Over the past decade,
nationally, only 18% of high-risk patients were screened, and screening rates varied significantly from state to state.
Only a small percentage of people who are eligible get screened for lung cancer. If you're over 50, if you have a smoking history, go to savedbythescan.org and figure out if you qualify for screening.
It was a really aggressive growth.
Lee says he's lucky his cancer was caught early and his only treatment was surgery.
Go. It can't hurt. If I didn't go do mine, nobody would ever have known because I didn't exhibit any symptoms. Get the baseline, and it gives you a peace of mind. Gives your family peace of mind.
He gets screened yearly and shares his story with his fellow firefighters to help them stay healthy. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
The Lung Cancer Association says it's concerned that federal cuts are threatening lung cancer research. The number of adults in their late 40s getting screened for colorectal cancer is skyrocketing. This comes after the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force changed its guidelines, recommending screening for people ages 45 to 49. Research published in JAMA found after that change, the number of adults in that age group getting screened jumped tenfold, with the biggest increases among women and white patients. And more than a third of men would rather be stuck in traffic than talk about their prostate health. An Orlando health survey shows even though prostate enlargement affects 60% of men 60 and older, 38% of men said they'd rather endure stressful situations like sitting in traffic or watching their favorite team lose a big game than talk about prostate health. Researchers stress that reluctance to address prostate health leads to delayed diagnosis and treatment. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about mushrooms and your dog.
And temperatures staying fantastic over the next few days. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a terrific Wednesday for us today. Not quite as windy across the region, plenty of sunshine, fantastic temperatures. Most of us right around 70 degrees throughout the afternoon. Crystal clear blue skies. This is what we are going to see as we go through the rest of the evening and then into the overnight hours for us tonight. Let me take you through time. We're going to walk through tonight. Clear skies. You can see an easterly wind. Here's 5:30 in the morning, 46 in Stockton, but 50 at Grand Lake, and then you have 43 in Chanute. As we go through the day, watch the winds. They start to crank out of the south, and they get moving a little bit once again as we go through tomorrow afternoon. And this should pop our temperatures upper 60s to lower 70s by the noon hour. And I think most of us 73-ish for a high as we go into Thursday afternoon. Thursday night, we get some clouds in here. Another front is going to be heading toward us. May get a sprinkle. Everybody, I really think, is mainly going to stay dry. Mid-50s, and then let's go through Friday. Notice the winds switch out of the northwest, so another cold front, but again, it's like a wind shift line. We don't really have much in the way of cooler air behind it as we mainly sit into the 70s for Friday afternoon, and it looks pretty good as we go into Friday evening as well. All right, so the winds have been kind of lighter out of the northeast throughout the daytime hours for us today, but watch how they shift out of the south and then they start to pick up a bit as we go into Thursday afternoon. So not windy, but we'll say breezy outside with some gusts, kind of 20 upwards to about 25 at times on your Thursday. 51 start, 70 by noon, high temp 73. Let's jump into four-state Friday night. High school football looks good. Playoffs, we got 65 at kickoff, 58 by the fourth quarter of most games. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex getting dark, but overall pretty calm evening. We slide back into the 50s, eventually into the 40s later on tonight. 63 in Nevada, Monette 65, Welch 68, Chanute is sitting at 63 degrees and nothing going on. No big storm systems. We have our next wave, not really a rain wave, but a cold wave, which will start to affect us as we head into the weekend. Let me show you that. So Thursday's fine, Friday's fine. Got one system driving through, but look at this guy. This is a strong system that will really pull in some cold air as we go into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday of next week, and then we'll start to see a little bit of a warming trend behind it for the second half of next week. So let's look at it. Saturday, we got some rain skirting to our north. We may get a couple flurries in here Saturday night, and then on Sunday, we just don't really go anywhere. Highs mainly into the mid-40s during the afternoon, and then we drop into lower 20s as we get into Monday morning. So that's a pretty big switch from 70s that we have been seeing the past couple days. 73 on Thursday, 72 on Friday, 69 on Saturday. But look at this, only 45 for a high on Sunday, and then down to 24 as we get into Sunday night.
Yeah, getting chilly and then overnight cold.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, when some celebrities lose their dogs, they're paying big money to get a Fido facsimile. Topping today's Consumer Watch, how much would you pay to never have to say goodbye to a beloved pet? Well, if you have enough cash, that is a question worth asking. Tom Brady announced that he's cloned his late dog, joining a list of other celebrities who have done the same thing. The price tag, a cool $50,000. Jolene Kent has that story.
I got a call today from the cloning people.
Many of us wish our pets could be with us forever.
It's been 10 months since Diamond Baby ran away. She was like my sister, my best friend.
Paris Hilton cloned her missing Chihuahua in 2023, producing 2 new puppies.
Diamond and Baby.
That same year, our Gayle King spoke with Barbara Streisand as they were interrupted by Miss Violet and Miss Scarlet, clones of Streisand's late canine, Samantha.
They're not the same because, as I said, you can't clone a soul. Sammy had her own soul.
And now football legend Tom Brady reveals to People magazine he's done the same, cloning his pit bull mix, Lua, who died in 2023, with biotech company Colossal Biosciences, in which Brady is an investor.
Meet Khaleesi.
Last year, Colossal says it used gene editing and cloning to create 3 pups of an extinct species, the dire wolf. To clone your pet, here's how it works. Your vet takes tissue samples and sends it to the lab. Embryos are created from the cells and implanted into a surrogate dog to carry it to term. According to research at Columbia University, the success rate is only about 20%. Bioethicist Jessica Pierce.
What worries me about cloning is that I feel like it's an industry that steps in and kind of preys on people's grief.
Pierce also said cloning preys on people's fear of losing their animal or their distress at having just lost their pet. We've reached out to Colossal for comment and have not heard back. In the meantime, PETA, the animal rights or advocacy organization, says the best way to honor your lost pet is to recognize that they are not replaceable and to adopt from a local shelter. Jolene Kent, CBS News, New York.
McDonald County High School hosts a career fair for their high school students to help young people explore all kinds of possibilities in industry, the military, and higher education. The school hosts these fairs to help students plan what's next in their lives.
I got an advantage because we exchanged contact info. They got mine, I got theirs, and hopefully we can reach out. And I actually learned that they hire high schoolers, so that really excited me, and hopefully I can take advantage of that and get a job.
About 750 students were expected to participate in that career fair. A final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, the people of Japan are under siege from bears. More than 100 people have been attacked, and the government is now calling in the military to help. Then on KOAM News at 6, find out why Bourbon and Woodson counties struggled to count the record number of write-in votes after the polls closed last night. Plus, more about the partial SNAP benefits challenging locals. And in sports, brothers on the gridiron at PSU. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Well, if you're a dog owner, you already know a lot of dogs will try to eat just about anything. And that brings us to today's question for our pet vet on call. Do the wild mushrooms in my yard pose a risk for my dog?
OMG, yes, very much so. Mushrooms are a fungus, a mold, and even though there are a few that are very good and beneficial for your health, like digestion and even cancer prevention, most of them are very harmful, and they can make you very sick, very often can kill them. So the mushrooms that sprout up in your yard are in that category. So as soon as you see them, get rid of them before your pet gets a hold of them.
You know, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday right here on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we've chosen this male senior border collie lab mix. His name is Vegas O'Connor. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, this 2.5-year-old male domestic short-haired cat, the society says he's really smart, likes to figure things out. His name is Sherlock, appropriately. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? Nice night out there, Doug.
Yeah, it looks fantastic as we go through the rest of the evening hours. And then tomorrow, a little breezy, high temp, 73.
Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.